Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. My name is Steve Boshear, and I will be your game master for the evening. If you haven't watched this channel before, Tales from the Backlog is where we try out new games every week. We have a rotating cast of players trying out a rotating stable of tabletop role-playing games. Tonight, we will be playing Beyond the Wall and Other Adventures by Flatland Games. This is a fun-looking little OSR game with a lot of cool art, some of which is decorating the screen right now. It's got some cool elements to it, which I'll talk about in a bit. But first, why don't we go around clockwise, starting with Jason, and introduce ourselves, our characters, and that's it. Those two things. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Jason. I'm playing Calico, the young woodsman. Calico likes hanging out in the wilderness and not really being in the village. Because, who wants to hang out in the village that much? You know, what's going on there? Yeah, I like the woods.
Fair point.
My name's Cody. I am playing Akshay, the untested thief, also known as the best thief in the whole village. Never once have I ever been caught. And I'm very certain of my ability to never be spotted.
How old is Akshay?
I am 13.
13. Never been caught in all these years.
All these years. Hard tested on these streets.
These streets.
I'm Jeff. I'm playing Heinrich, the gallant would-be knight, known for defending the village from evildoers and ruffians from across the land.
Known by who?
The village.
Okay.
All right. And I'm Sarah, and I am playing Faustine, the witch's apprentice. And the witch has gone missing, so I guess I'm the witch now. But don't worry, I've got it all under control. Everything's fine. Everything's totally fine. Nobody worry about me ever. I've got everything under control. Everything's fine.
Everything sounds fine then.
Yes, it is. I'm glad you noticed that.
All right. Well, hey, Bill Bro Swaggins. I feel like that guy's been in the chat before.
That's my roommate.
Yeah, probably has then. Very memorable name. So, yeah, we are starting off. The fun thing about this game, about Beyond the Wall, is it is designed so that you can play it. You can sit down, build your characters, build out your adventure, and play it all in one evening, which I think is a little ambitious. You could probably do that if you...
Oh, wow.
If you plan to play for 6 hours. Yes, thank you, Bill Bro Swaggins. We very much appreciate all those gifted subs. Look at that. You are a Bill Bro. Look at it. Anyway, so the way that they achieve this is that they give you a series of playbooks for each character. When our players here introduce their characters, they introduced themselves as a young woodsman, an untested thief, a would-be knight, and a witch's apprentice. Those are actually the names of the playbooks that they chose. There are only 3 classes in this game for characters. They are warrior, mage, and rogue. We have 2 rogues and a warrior and a mage. But they are further defined in character traits by those playbooks. And the playbooks come with just a series of tables for rolling on that give you your backstory and stat bumps all at once. So that's how you can generate a character and play very quickly. The scenario packs are similar. I, as the GM, have a scenario pack with a bunch of tables on it that give me details about what you guys are going to be doing, and I rolled on it just a couple hours ago and got the details for your adventure. There are 2 scenario packs that come in the core book. I went out to Drive-Thru RPG, and there's like a bunch of other ones that are just free. So I'm running one of those, and it's going to be called The Wicked Dark. Or it came with like sort of an expansion called The Wicked Dark. I'm not going to tell you the name of the scenario itself because it's kind of a spoiler. But
Sounds like I should have taken Mage Light.
Mage Light. Mage Light's a cantrip. Cantrip spells and rituals. Same words as D&D, different terminology. Yeah, so the rules are pretty simple and the stats are pretty familiar. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, before we do, I'd like to show everyone the village map. This is the other cool thing we did. So the book comes with a blank map. This is my crappy drawing all over it. But a couple of things are on the page by default. One is the inn, which I have framed out. Let me frame it back in. There, the inn, which is right there. That's always on the map because they assume every village has an inn. Of course, by default, this says the village of blank. We named ours Pine Fall. And then there are these lines for listing important people, which are players named during character creation. So these are people that are relevant to our characters, and all of our characters grew up in the village of Pinefall and know each other from here. It's a small area. We have the sheep paddock here because it's a farming, ranching, fishing, and lumberjacking village. As you can see, here's where the sheep are, here's where the farms are, here's where the woods are, and here's where the ships come and dock. That's the fishery there. Jeff, I meant to ask you earlier, I made kind of an assumption, but it was worded a little confusingly in the Discord. Von Kaufman is you, right? You're Heinrich von Kaufman? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
I got a noble name as part of my backstory.
Great. Yeah, you went into a lot of details about the von Kaufman family, but you didn't actually say that you were one of them. So I just kind of made that assumption.
I said it was my dad and brothers, my bad.
Yeah. Over here is the hut, the witch's hut. Now the witch's prentice's hut, since the witch vanished. Here is Leonard's house. And here is the tree house that Akshay likes to sleep in because he's totally a badass thief.
Yep.
Still living in his tree
And nobody
house.
knows about this place except for the people I want to know.
Which is Calico and who else?
Patrick, my fence.
Patrick, your fence. Love it. Love that kid energy.
So I just want to interrupt real quick, Steve.
Yes,
I just
sir.
want to say this map is great, and I think it looks amazing.
Thank you.
It looks good.
That's
Have you ever
definitely.
thought about
Great
going
play.
into
What
Steve, have you ever thought about
was-
going into digital media design? It's
Yeah.
a super good map.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I am actually a 3D digital artist, but I tend to work with 3D tools and not a pen. However, I did this on my tablet because it was kind of in the spirit of the game to just use whatever drawing skills you have, and there they are. It's definitely better than the scribbles on last week's ICRPG game, in which I made the captain's chair look like a toilet.
Oh yeah.
It's a comment.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put up some art slides here from the book just to keep everyone in the mood while I tell you what's going on. You guys right now are not currently in the village. The other day, a holy man from the south came to town. He was speaking of foreign gods and mystical rites in the middle of the big ol' inn that you guys have. And you all, the four friends of here, were interested in what he was saying, and so you followed him far away from the village to an ancient religious site. And one of the four of you took part in his rituals. Not it. Which of you would like to do it? Who's interested in this guy's weird foreign religion enough to take part in a ritual?
I'll bite. Oh,
yeah.
unless.
Nope, go
Fasting.
for it.
Okay. So I know that he has like bronze or silver, something shiny, like little candelabras on his altar, and I offered myself up to participate as a prime opportunity to steal them.
Okay. Well, you know what? You have like a steely skill, right? I don't actually have your character sheets in front of me.
Yeah, I have well, I have explicitly smithing or stealth, trapping, lockpicking, and stealth again. So
Okay, I'm gonna say you can apply stealth to this since the guy's right in the room with you and you're trying to steal something from him while he's there. So you can apply stealth to this.
so
Test.
to go over the rules. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say test dexterity and you can apply your bonus for stealth, which is +2 to your stat, right?
Yeah. So I have a dex of 19.
Okay.
And then I'm stealth, so it's a +2. And then I'm expertise in stealth, so it's actually +4. So I have to roll less than 24 or 23.
On
Is that how that works?
On a D20?
Yeah. Is that how that works?
That can't be how that works.
No, I think you have to roll less than a 20 on that D20.
Even
Because I
though
think
my
the
skills go over 20.
Yeah, because I think
Okay.
the 20 will auto fail no matter what.
Dang.
I'm looking it up right now.
That
Okay.
is a
Okay.
reasonable rule because otherwise
An
that number would
unmodified 1 is always a success, and a unmodified 20 is always a failure.
be...
Yeah,
Upside down
I was,
crit rules.
Yeah.
I was born to play this game. I rolled a 6.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yes.
So you know what
Jeff is with
He-
me at my normal game, and he sees me just struggle to roll anything above a 12 all night.
Yep.
He rolls
So-
better on a D12 than a D20.
That's nuts. So yeah, this guy, he's so entranced with his own spiel about, the ancient gods of the South that he straight up, even though his eyes are wide open, he straight up doesn't notice when you roll up to the altar and just take 2 candlesticks off it. However, in order to get yourself into that position, you have to actually take part in the ritual. So the ritual does involve like a lot of chanting and sweating. There's like steam, there's incense. You have to drink this weird semi-poisonous concoction at one point. So I'm going to need you now to test Constitution, please.
So I have an 8, so I have to roll 8 or less, or less than 8.
You have to roll, I think, 8 or less.
I rolled a 7.
Nice.
Saving throw number or higher. And if it's
Okay.
poison, it'd be whatever that is on your table, I think.
Oh,
Well, you have succeeded.
okay.
So
okay.
you have endured for the entire ordeal, and you have come away with new insight. Your weapon is blessed until the next moon, gaining +1 to hit and damage.
Okay. I
And-
will say that my sling is my weapon of choice.
And you have 2 worthless, silver-painted wooden candlesticks.
Oh,
So you guys all come away from this experience with a little bit more knowledge about the world beyond your city or your village walls, and you make your way back home when the ritual is over. You arrive to find the village of Pinefall in something of an uproar. There are people about in the village commons, whispering to each other. Some of the people have tears in their eyes, and a lot of the village men are sort of by the inn, whispering conspiratorially, while a lot of the women are off in another corner, also whispering conspiratorially, but in a different fashion. What would you guys like to do?
I will look for I'll head towards the women and look for somebody that I know. Probably, if you want to use one of the NPCs, probably look for Murda or for Sabe, the fisher women.
You do actually see all of the fisher women and their family here in the village commons, which is not usual. You know, they only come to town normally to sell their wares down on the docks. But yeah, Murda's there. And Murda is the matriarch of the family, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah,
you can find her.
Yeah, I'll go straight up to her, like, Murda, what's going on?
Oh, Faustine, you're back.
Yes.
We heard you left town. We worried that you were all slain on the road.
No. Is that what this is about? No, we're all fine. Everything's fine.
You didn't see them?
No. Who's them?
Oh my goodness, goblins. The village was raided overnight.
Oh no! Is anybody hurt? Does anybody need help?
Young Heinrich is a friend of yours, yes?
Yes.
He will probably want to know that Ulrich, the mercenary, was killed in the attack. I believe they used to train together.
Oh no.
We found him in the morning, shot in the back, out in the road, goblin arrows sticking out of his body.
Oh my goodness. I look around for Heinrich immediately.
I probably would have wandered over to the menfolk.
What was that, Jeff?
I probably would have wandered over to the menfolk to see what is going on as well.
Okay. Yeah, you find there your own father, Lothar, and he says, Heinrich, you're back. We were starting to get worried about you. And
yes, Father, of course. Sorry.
Unless there's anything in particular you want to throw into the conversation that's new, we can just say you get the same information from him that Ulrich was slain in a goblin raid.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, don't need to role play the same scene twice in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are Calico and Akshay doing during this time?
I think Calico has gravitated over towards the women.
Okay.
But he's kind of hanging on the edge of everything, like trying to keep an ear out for what everyone's saying, but he doesn't want to get too close.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're like in the village center, right?
Yeah, you're in the commons, more or less right in front of the inn. It tends to be the inn, and the space in front of it tend to be like the gathering place for people.
So I stay within earshot of most of the conversation so I can listen, but I'm actually going through the alleyway, the barrels and crates in the alleyway, looking for some food to nab for later.
Okay,
But-
I mean, there's not much of an alleyway, just because, it's not
Yeah.
like a real city. It's the thing that they have instead of an alleyway is like just behind the building. But yeah, you can find. I would think that the innkeeper. You don't have parents, do you? Like,
Nah, Batman.
how'd you? Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah.
Sure, your parents were Batmaned by a sheep. But you.
What? Sheep.
Fair to say that everyone knows you're a steely little urchin, but the innkeeper will typically throw out larger quantities of food than normal.
Cody, isn't your father the local blacksmith?
Oh yeah, he is the blacksmith.
Oh,
I just named him.
I didn't
I
remember
forgot
that
I don't have a
information.
father. No, that was a good call.
Well, I mean, he can be dead. It's up to you.
No, he can be. It's I assume he died in a tragic forging accident. I haven't talked to him in 3 years ever since I became a man.
Buddy, there's seriously like 85, 90 people in the whole village.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you guys have this information now. Ulrich is dead. The goblins raided. A lot of windows were broken. Houses were broken into. Nobody else died other than Ulrich. But like a lot of windows were broken. Houses were gone into. Being goblins, they were kind of cowardly. They didn't fight much unless they had people outnumbered. So they largely avoided harming people too much. But Ulrich did get killed, and nobody is sure what they were after.
I would like to try to find out two things. Get a pretty solid grasp on what was taken.
Okay.
And just also confirm that people actually saw these goblins and that it wasn't, because we've had raiders before, and I just want to be sure that, without directly questioning anybody or confronting anybody, just be really sure that like this isn't like a rumor that's spiraled out of control.
Sure.
Ooh, you know what? To follow up with that, Calico, we have like a little bit of time to play with here on this.
Yes.
I think Calico's gonna be like looking around, like scouting for like footprints, like where they came from, where it looked like they were going. Also to like get an idea of who attacked and try and get some info on that.
Okay. Yes, we will resolve both of those in the order they were posed. Faustine, what do you want to roll? I feel like this should be something charisma based. You're going around asking people questions. If you have a skill that applies here, you can do that. Otherwise, it's going to just be a charisma test.
I guess it's just a charisma test. I was going to ask if it could be intelligence, because it is kind of an investigation.
Yeah, you know what? People here already know you, and they're not playing it particularly close to the chest. So I'd say, yeah, you could, in this situation, you could imply intelligence, because you're not really trying to drag information out of anybody. You're just asking them questions.
Yeah, I'm just circling and saying what happened, like what was stolen from you, and what did you see? Just so I am rolling. I just have a 12 for charisma, so no bonuses, no nothing. It's just rolling a d20. I'm sorry, I said intelligence.
Yeah.
So my intelligence is 15. Do I add the +1? to my. So I'm rolling against a 15, or am I rolling against a 16?
What's the +1 from?
From my bonus to wisdom or intelligence, I mean.
Yeah, that your score is one higher. If that's you got a +1 when you rolled on the table during creation.
No, you're talking about your stat mod.
Yes. Yeah, my stat mod.
Is that going to add to the score for the ability check?
Yeah. I think it does. I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, I read through the rules and I was a little unclear on what exactly the +1 does.
The +1 raises your stat.
Well, no, it's the +1 from it's like my really high dex gives me a +3 bonus to range to hit, armor class, and initiative.
Okay, so I'm just rolling against the 15. Okay, well, it doesn't matter anyway because I rolled a 19.
So you failed the check.
Failed it.
Okay. And specifically, you were asking, did anyone actually see the goblins? And and you were trying to figure out what exactly was taken.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say, despite failure, it is easy to get the answer to the first question. Yes, a lot of people saw goblins in town. They were breaking windows. They were going into houses. People fought them. They were screaming and yelling. It was definitely goblins. They were seen.
Okay.
The other question, nobody's quite sure. So Calico, you wanted to do kind of like a tracking survival type thing, yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
Like I want to use my non-existent tracking skill to deduce whence they came, where they came from, and whence they left towards.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think is an appropriate role for that?
I'm thinking wisdom.
I think so, and I also think, given the nature of the situation, I want to give you a buff to it. I think it's like I am gonna say I'm gonna give it a +1 to your score.
All right, 65%. Let's do it. I don't get it.
Okay. Well, you.
One.
So you, what you were looking for is what you stated you were looking for is plain to see. For a woodsman like yourself, there is some additional information that your failed roll is going to keep you from getting, but they came from the woods. And they went back to the woods.
Ooh.
You are aware of... well, let me ask you this. You're a woodsman. Where do you live? Do you think you live in town, sort of like maybe in the farmy areas or up here, or do you actually keep a dwelling out in the woods?
You know, I think Calico, I technically live with my family in town.
Okay.
I just try to, I don't really have a dwelling in the woods. I just like spending as much time in the woods as I can.
Okay. So do you think your family, we discussed in the Discord that kind of the sort of upper crust of the village, what upper crust it has, lives sort of the center of town, and then everyone else is like out more down here. Are you more of a down here type of guy?
Yeah, I think with my sheep herder background, probably closer to the
paddock.
Really large sheep paddock there.
It's super big.
It's huge.
There's a lot of different flocks there, I think, is what it is.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Also, the sheep are just ginormous. So yeah, okay. But you do a lot of like camping. You're out in the woods a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know from the footprints that you have seen, and also just what people say, that the goblins came from the forest and went back to the forest. But you also know that you have seen footprints like this in the forest before. This forest extends much farther off the map to the north and east. It is enormous, and the depths to which you have explored it are finite. It gets dark and tangled and twisted pretty quick when you go more than a few miles in.
Oh yeah, no, I figure like Calico likes to spend like a lot of time in like, I mean, maybe this little slice here.
I can't see
like
what you're pointing at, but
I'm
the part
just
that's on the
pointing
map.
at the forest you've got on the map.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely going to be more forest beyond that he hasn't made it out to yet.
Right, and not only yourself, but nobody has delved too deep into this forest. It is known that things live in there if you go too far. And some of those things have now come out and attacked the village. Heinrich, what are you up to right now?
Well, other than trying to steel myself at the news that my friend and mentor has been slain, I'm going to try and use my commanding presence as a gallant knight to get information on where the goblins ran off to, which it sounds like we've gotten, and declare that I'm going to go pursue them and avenge my mentor as a true knight would.
Okay, everyone lets you say that, after which... after which your brothers Otto and Frederick pull you aside. They're like, "Hey, Dad doesn't want you to go. He said that Ulrich was a lot more experienced than you, and they just shot him in the back at night. You should not go after them."
And I will reply, "It is my time to go and prove myself worthy of the title of knight. And what better way to do it than avenge a family friend?
Okay, but
it's dishonorable for us to hide."
All right. Can you at least take someone with you? What about the woodsman that you like hanging out with? We could really use you here to defend the village.
I'm gonna jump into the conversation and say, "Don't worry about Heinrich. He's got me, Akshay." And I pick up 2 rocks and put them in my pocket.
What? Are you stealing the rocks, kid? What?
No, they are tools used for fighting goblins, which clearly you've never done before.
We all did it last night.
Mm-hmm.
He hikes up one trouser leg. He's like, "Look, one of them clipped me in the knee. It's got a big bruise there."
It looks like you banged your shin on a bench.
That's not the point. I was fighting goblins at the time.
Okay, my friends want to come with me and are willing to risk themselves, then they can come with me. But
Akshay,
me not being here cost the village one of our best, and I need to go fix that wrong.
By not being here again.
Hey, don't question him. He's the most brave man I know.
How many men do you know?
At least 4.
Yeah.
Roughly half the village.
Roughly half the village. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Faustine, what are you up to?
I am kind of listening to this from a distance away. I imagine probably standing next to Calico, unless we're just kind of a step back observing this and just kind of like, I guess. I mean,
if he really wants to do it, we could just sneak him out later.
Yeah. I do owe Heinrich one, a very serious one.
Heinrich is young, but he is an adult. Like if he wants to go, they're not going to like physically prevent him. They're just telling him, Dad doesn't want you to do this.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying if he wants to like sneak out so that his family doesn't know he's left, until they call upon him for something, and then they go, "Oh wait, where did he go?" We're here for that.
Yeah, yeah. And if I'll be there if something really bad happens. We can fix it. All right. Yeah.
Okay. I'll say it's by this point it's like early afternoon. You guys got back to the area of the village like late morning, and like getting into town, overhearing everything and having these conversations. It's now taken you into early afternoon. Is there anything else anyone wants to do at this point? Or are you going to just head right back out to the forest?
Is it safe to assume I can acquire an empty bag or sack?
I would assume that you always have one of those.
Okay.
He doesn't keep it, though. Just always losing it and grabbing another one.
Yeah. Somehow, every time I go out, the sack in my treehouse is replaced by somebody. I assume it's Face Spirits. It's probably my dad.
He's just quietly like gathering up all your stolen stuff, just like putting it back for anybody. I am gonna swing by my hut and just make sure, just see if there was any damage, if anything was taken, what it looks like.
Okay. Your hut, of course, as you can see on the map, is kind of in the woods.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Yeah, not a long way.
No, on the way.
Yeah, it's on the way.
Oh, it is. Well, in that case, I'll walk up and say, like, Heinrich, can you walk me to my hut? I just want to check and see if everything's still there. Just to give you an excuse to get out of town.
But of course, I would love to help you.
And people kind of roll their eyes at you, Faustine. You know that people in the town don't super trust you because you hung out with the witch. But
yeah.
And your dad's crazy. He's not here, by the way.
My dad is crazy. I wasn't expecting him to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a few minutes to get back to your hut. It has absolutely been broken into and ransacked.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, but do you still have those good berries?
Of course. Yeah, I got my pouch on my belt. I can't imagine I had like anything. I mean, I definitely had like some good, healing remedies in there and some cookware and,
They didn't take any herbs. They didn't take any of your remedies or even food. But I'd like you to roll an intelligence check, please.
All right.
And because this is your house, I'm going to give you +3 to your stat on this.
Okay. So that takes me up to an 18.
Yeah.
And that's a 4. So, yeah.
They took your pots.
The heck? What are my pots made of? Clay or iron?
You have both kinds. They took some clay pots. They took Ancilla's big witch's cauldron. They took that. They took the stuff you actually cook your food in. They took all your pots.
What? I'll share this with the guys and just be like.
Oh, are Calico and Akshay with you as well?
assume, yeah. I assume we all went.
Yeah, I would have come with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like fashionably distanced behind time-wise, so it doesn't look too
Mhm.
suspicious.
Even though you guys just got back to town together and everyone knows you hang out.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm not like no, I'm not keeping like fashionable distance here. No, I'm part of the group.
Okay.
Akshay, what are you doing? I imagine you're just sort of off to the side, pretending to hide behind bushes and stuff as you go.
Yeah, definitely diving. Like they're walking on the road. I'm like diving bushes, crawling. Because as the youngest member, I probably have the most active energy
Yeah.
doing all this.
Yeah,
Just
so
picturing it like anime style, where you're just like popping like your head and then your legs out of the bushes nearby.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
absolutely.
And I was like, what? Why would they? They only took the pots. Do I have like knives? I assume I have like at least a couple kitchen knives that
Yeah.
I left behind. I keep my dagger on me, and they left those.
yeah. They took like whatever little bits of food you might have had that was like already prepared, they would have taken that.
Yeah.
What
They
interesting
just, like,
things to steal.
Food in my
They're
pots. What in the world?
terrible thieves.
Yeah.
I mean-
And Calico, you are easily able to. In fact, right here, right by the hut, you could all easily spot the huge trail of goblin footprints. As just a whole big raiding party came right out of the woods to the hut and left.
Yeah.
All their
I will
footprints.
add. I do have survival as one of my skills.
Okay, maybe you should be following footprints in the future.
Yeah. Next time.
You also live in the woods. That makes sense.
I'd like to roll for folklore, because that's another one of my skills, and see if I can think of a reason why goblins would be stealing cookware.
Absolutely. Roll intelligence.
All right. And then I add +2 for folklore. For
Yes.
all right. Okay. So that is gonna be, yeah. So that's an 8 against my intelligence of 15 plus my 2. So easily.
Okay. So yeah, you got pretty high on that. Why they are stealing pots, you can't say. You do know the following. These are forest goblins.
Mhm.
They are goblins have a trait as a species where they kind of take on the traits of their sort of environment. Goblins kind of, not necessarily always their environment, but there are different types of goblins that represent different sort of aspects of goblinhood. These are forest goblins. They live in the deepest, darkest parts of the forest. They're not exactly stupid, but they get hung up on. They're known to get hung up on stupid things a lot. Like there are very famous stories about goblins fighting amongst themselves over trinkets that don't matter to other people, but seem to be very important to the goblins. But the more important piece of information that you remember is that forest goblins have to return to their own grove every dawn, or they die. They can only be out of their grove at night. Also, if they are in the woods or in a forest, they gain incredible they get buffs to their abilities if they're in the forest. They're more powerful when they're at home.
I'll share all of this, of course.
Yes.
So goblin raids are pretty normal, right?
No, it's never happened in any of your memory here in Pinefall.
Oh.
It happens occasionally on the roads traveling to and from the village really far out. But goblins, they're kind of cowardly, and to actually attack a human settlement without overwhelming numbers, not super common.
Okay, but I know what a goblin is, even as
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
Okay.
I'd say none of the four of you have ever seen one with your own two eyes, but it's like, you know what a goblin is. Yeah.
While they're all investigating what's going on inside and looking at traps, I'm going to create a leg snare trap, so that way next time the raiding party of goblins comes through, it's probably going to get one of them.
Do you have an applicable skill for that?
I have trapping.
Okay.
Would you like intelligence or?
I would think that's dexterity. But because you're trying to capture an intelligent creature that can make traps itself rather than like a wolf or a bear, I'm going to impose -5 to your stat for that. And then your skill puts 2 back on, so -3 overall.
Okay. Less than 16. I rolled an 8.
Cool. Yeah, you make yourself a little trap that is... You actually have to point it out to your friends here because it's really hard to see. And if any goblins ever come... Are you putting it sort of in the same spot they came out of the woods before, or where are you putting it?
I'm definitely just like... There's like their path that they carved. I assume like there's a big drag marks from the cauldron just to the right of it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you successfully hide it from view to the point that if someone didn't already know about it, they very much risk stepping on it. And it's like a rope trap. It's like grabs the foot or.
Yep, grabs a foot and yanks them up, and then they're.
Oh, full on cartoon. Like and the tree goes and hits them against the ground on both sides. Yeah. Okay.
And I say that should hold them if they ever come back. Are we gonna go find them?
There's a goblin.
Sorry. All right.
Desk
well,
goblin.
Yes. Just wants attention. Well, I think we have 2 choices. One is we try to go and find them in their grove, and I look up at the sun like this is incredibly like complex calculation. I'm just like, it looks like the sun's going down. Like we can try to get there before night falls, or we can wait for them and see if they come to us. See if they try to attack again. We might have a bit more of an advantage if they're going to be at their strongest if we attack them in their house or their grove, their home territory. Do we want to go to them, or do we want to see if they'll come to us?
I think we should wait on them to see if they come back again tonight, and then leave in the morning if they do not.
Calico, would you like to help me set up a litany of traps along the path?
I'm not really good at traps.
I would, I know you don't have like an official skill for it, but given that it's your whole damn thing to be a young woodsman, I would say that the 2 of you working together would negate that -5 that I gave to Akshay.
Okay. I'll help as best I can.
Does that mean, do you want to roll or do you want me to roll then? It is your job. Even if I'm better. Just because I'm Akshay.
No, if you guys are spending real time doing this, I think we can bypass the rules and say that you are able to get up, several traps all around the hut and in between the hut and the trail. Because it is still just like afternoon, like I said. So, if you're putting real time in it, then you get it done.
Yeah, no, I think wait until dark, see if they come again, and if not, see how well we can track them in the morning. just curious if they came here of their own accord or not. Because if they, I mean, like Faustine was saying, like they don't, like, I mean, a group, like, it's not tiny, but a group this small, like without overwhelming numbers, usually wouldn't come out to like raid like this. But they did, and they took some really goofy bullshit.
Yes.
So, like, it almost feels as if like they were looking for something specific.
Yeah.
And maybe just taking everything that they thought like was even close to that, just in case.
Yes. If this was a story, they'd be like looking for an enchanted bowl that was somewhere in the village, so they took everything instead.
Everything round that could contain liquid.
Yeah. And that's assuming that they didn't find what they came for.
Yeah.
Calico, while you're helping Akshay set up traps, roll wisdom for me and apply your alertness buff.
Okay. All right. Wow, I got it.
All right. You notice something about this area that went a little bit unremarked so far, but now that you see it, it's obvious. This wasn't like a little side group that came and attacked the witch's hut here while others went to the town. This was the entry and exit point for the whole horde on their way in and out. And moreover, you see something that you have seen many times because you have been looking for it many times, so many times that it catches your eye without even looking for it, and that is some wool, some black wool that got caught on one of the branches.
Oh, beans.
Right by the trail of the goblins. It's Blackie's wool.
Yeah.
For sure. It has a texture to it, you know?
Yeah.
Not that there are any other black sheep around here anyway, but it's definitely Blackie's.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did the goblins take my cookware and your sheep? Or do you think the sheep was an accomplice?
No, she's a good sheep.
Well,
Is
we
she?
do know it was sheep that killed Akshay's parents.
I've seen how that sheep be staring at me with its sideways eyes. Those are goats, but it's sideways eyes all the same.
Yes, sheep are known for their malevolent intelligence.
Yeah.
That's in character, I say that.
Especially that sheep in particular.
It is known.
I think I
for
saw
escapes.
that sheep bowl over 2 brigands a few months back.
She just likes getting out of her paddock and wandering around. That's all. She's a good sheep.
You can't trust people that just want to get out and wander around. Look at the 4 of us.
Yeah, those guys are the worst.
Yeah. Well, these guys. Oh, sorry.
Like, about how close to nightfall is it when I find this wool?
About an hour from nightfall.
Okay. And all I find is the one bit of black wool. There's no like other sheep wool.
If now that you have found it, if you want to sort of see if you can track from it and look for more, you can do that.
I would like to do that.
Go ahead.
Am I just rolling wisdom?
Yeah, you can apply alertness again. I think
Okay.
I think that definitely applies to tracking like this.
Nope.
Okay. So you don't
13
see.
does not cut it.
There's so many goblins came through here. It's hard to say if there was more wool at one point. But yeah, I mean, definitely the goblins made quite a mess. There's broken branches.
Yeah.
Like they weren't hiding their passage at all.
Well, something else I was kind of curious about. So Faustine's like big cauldron. It's like a big metal cauldron, right?
Yep. A goblin could get inside it.
Is there like a trail that I can see, like just looking? Like, is there a trail of that cauldron, or does it seem like they carried it off?
It seems like they carried it off, but you know what? I will say, when you get, how far into the woods do you go while you're looking for Blackie's fur or wool?
I'd say I mean, like my search for the sheep wool, I'm gonna say maybe like 20-30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't get too deep, but I spend some time like around.
Sure. In that case, yeah, you start to see something as you get further into the woods, and it is pots and pans discarded by the trail. Just like one here, one there. Nothing like the cauldron, but like little ones.
Yeah. I'm gonna like. I mean, when I start to see that, I will leave them. Go back to the witch's hut. Hey, can you guys come with me a bit? Like, I found some pots and pans, and I'm curious if they're yours, Faustine.
You found my pots? Awesome.
Maybe.
I'll go with you. I assume that like while you've been setting traps and searching, I've been straightening up because apparently I'm a homeowner now, so that's what I got to do.
Yeah, which begs the question: what has Heinrich been doing while Calico and Akshay were setting traps and Faustine was cleaning?
I've been trying. I've definitely tried to bully you into helping me clean them.
I probably would have been helping, but
Yeah.
It's probably be pretty half-hearted. I'm probably keeping half my mind on like watching out for another surprise ambush, and like a quarter of my mind is thinking about my mentor who I just lost, and then the final quarter is helping clean up.
Yeah, I imagine it's hard to hold a broom with a sword already in your hand.
Yeah, sword in one hand, broom in the other.
All right, so now that Calico has come back and said this, Faustine, are you going to go with him?
Yeah, absolutely. I want my cookware back.
Okay. Well, he takes you out to where he found some of the pots. The first one is not yours. The second one is not yours. They're, 20, 30, 50 yards away from each other as they're just sort of randomly discarded by passing goblins. But you do find one or two that were yours.
All right. I'll stack up. I'll definitely bring mine back and just start stacking up all the rest of it. Try to carry it back to my place.
So you can bring back the ones that aren't yours as well?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is like I'm imagining like taking it. I imagine I'll like just take it all back to the village in the morning and just like stack it up in the commons and be like, all right, everybody.
All right.
Your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, whatever Faustine can't carry, I will help pick up.
Thank you.
But I also want to make like woodsman marks just to annotate where the detritus that we're picking up was like pointing towards.
They were thrown off both sides of the trail made by the goblins. Which way they were pointing towards. You can easily mark where you found them. That's easy to do.
That's basically what I want to do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they weren't pointing particularly towards anything. Like if you were thinking maybe they're
where they were, so I don't have to remember which direction they're going in. I can go back and go, yep, there's my mark. They were here. We came from there, so they must be going that way, sort of deal.
Calico, there is something else that's important to you out in these woods somewhere, and you are not too far from that spot. Do you want to go check on it?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Yeah, so you go to your old oak tree where you discovered this iron-bound chest long ago. Do you go by yourself, or do you want to bring someone with you?
I'd go by myself.
Okay. It's been dug up, and the chest has been broken open. Which...
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like...
Interesting to know.
The rock is there. It looks like they just used a rock to break the little lock that you had on it. The money is here. It looks like the chest was ransacked, but they were not interested in the money. It's like all over the ground.
Well, there wasn't really any money in it per se. There was a big old damn ruby in it.
Well, I was going to get to that. Your thing says a hidden cache of money.
Okay.
Well,
I assumed it was like a cache of money that had been like it was, and that the gem was what remained of it.
Okay. I mean, I imagined a chest containing both coins and a gem, but yeah, you have you have the gem. It is still here. They clearly found it. It's been taken out of the chest. It's on the ground. They dug it up and dumped it out.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I can go with that. I had assumed I had that on me, but I'm cool.
Oh, I see.
But no,
I read it as you left it hidden.
I put it on in my equipment.
Okay.
But I was waiting for you to say it had been stolen, and then I was going to say, well, I kind of had it on me, so is it plot relevant that it's stolen? Because it can still be stolen. That's fine.
It is not plot relevant that it's stolen.
Okay.
But
it can totally be there.
It is worth noting, whether the gem was in the chest or not, the goblins came to this tree and dug up your chest.
Yeah. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I have a question. Did you ditch me first before, because I'm like walking officiously back with my arms full of pottery and cookware, or did you? Am I aware of this?
I'm going to assume that after we brought these pots and pans and stuff back to your hut, I kind of had a I wonder thought, and then slip and just not even trying to like consciously avoid people, but just kind of slipped away off on my own. So I don't know if you've noticed if I was gone.
All right. Should we all roll perception or whatever the equivalent is to see who notices Calico slipping away?
For the sake of one-shot timing, and since Calico's coming right back, I'm going to say let's skip that.
Okay, fair enough.
He reappears at the hut. He hasn't been gone long.
All right. Totally.
Do you want to tell?
Check on something, but it's fine. It's still there. Yeah, maybe we should like in the morning, because I'm thinking we shouldn't do this at night. But let's head out in the morning and see if we can figure out where these goblins got off to.
Yeah.
Calico, look at me. Are you okay with them eating your demon sheep?
I mean, I'd like to get Blackie back, but it also would not at all surprise me if she just makes it back on her own.
She's gonna definitely hit one of
She's
these
good at
traps.
that kind of shit.
Well,
I'd like you guys to wake up in the morning and Blackie's just outside covered in blood with a goblin head in her mouth. That isn't what's going to happen, but I would like it if that happened.
Steve, this is not black sheep.
It can be what I say.
Not the witch.
No. So yeah, you guys want to bed down for the night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will at any rate.
I would
Take-
like
Will
to
you
share-
be setting watches or just sleeping?
Yeah.
I mean, is this really like the kind of time period where people would have timepieces?
That's
Sorry,
not
I just
super
it just
relevant.
popped in there.
Oh, I get it. Setting watches.
Yeah.
I was like, why do you need a clock to set watches? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably set a watch.
I'll take
Yeah.
first watch.
I'm not
I
even
knew
tired.
you
I'm
would,
sure I
Heinrich.
can stay up all night.
Damn it, Akshay. The kids always say that, and then they can't.
They make it 30 minutes and then
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
go. for
I'll
10.
take second watch.
I'll take third watch, and
And Akshay can
Akshay-
stay up.
Akshay can just stay up as he pleases.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll get to dawn and then just crash.
which is just when you want to leave.
And
Yeah.
we'll fill him in on what happened when we get back.
I
Fair enough.
quietly sidle over to either Heinrich or Calico, whichever one of you guys is more inclined to take a bet, and place bets on what point Akshay is going to fall asleep during the night. My money's on first watch.
I'm not really a gambling man, but I will wager a couple silver second watch.
All right.
Okay.
I want everyone
Heinrich,
to know I
you want
already rolled.
second? Yeah.
Akshay,
I kind
when...
of half-heartedly put in a couple copper
Okay.
for,
Yeah.
I guess, third watch because I pick last.
Okay,
Yeah.
Akshay, yeah, what'd you roll Constitution?
Oh, I just rolled the D12 for
Okay.
number of tens of minutes,
He
and I rolled a 2.
falls asleep in first watch. Heinrich, you're still talking to him when he goes out.
You start talking to me about this story about who Ulrich was, how great of a man he was, his stories of valor. I'm just asleep.
Yeah, and Akshay, you're so bored because you also knew Ulrich. There's literally 90 people in the village. You know everybody.
And Faustine, that's 2 silver for you.
Yeah.
2 silver and 2 copper.
Yeah.
Akshay should bet against himself. Akshay was not aware of the betting, I think. Dungeon Matron says you should have bet against yourself. All right, so the night passes uneventfully and you guys awaken in the morning. No further goblin raids took place this night. However, who had third watch? Was it Calico?
That was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, roll me another one of those alertness checks.
All right. No.
Night passed uneventfully.
Yeah.
And you guys are gonna head out to follow the goblin tracks now?
Yes.
Okay. You begin...
Actually, you know what, Steve?
Yeah.
I'm spending one of my fortune points
You sure
I
are.
want to re-roll that.
Okay.
All right.
Fortune lets you reroll any failed roll.
That one I
Four.
got.
Nice.
You got it. Okay, great. You do. I assume you're in the hut keeping watch, yeah? But you're by a window or by the door or something. Yeah, okay. You hear the quiet chittering of goblin voices nearby. If you want to try and like sneak out and see if you can hear what they're saying, you can try that. It would be a dexterity check with a stealth bonus if you have stealth.
Yeah, I want to try that.
Okay.
Fuck, which one of these is going to roll a 20? I think that one.
The trick is to always roll poorly, Jason, like I did.
Yeah, I've been rolling. Yeah, like look at that.
That's
14.
my secret cap. I'm always rolling shit dice. 14 is a pass?
Yes.
Okay. You are able to get out the door. Fortunately, Faustine has kept Ancilla's door well oiled, so it doesn't make a sound. When Ancilla was here, it was your classic squeaky ass witch's front door that you could hear all over the damn woods. But it's oiled now. Someone's taken care of it. You sneak out the door totally silently, and you get out just to like around the corner from where these goblins are. They're not at the hut. They're in the bushes near the hut, and they're arguing with each other. And you hear one of them say, "Globbob said it was this way." And the other one says, "I don't care what Globbob said. He is not in charge now. I am in charge now." And the other one says, "But Globbob says he is in charge." And they go back and forth like that, talking about where is it? We're looking for it. Globbob wants it. And then there's another goblin name comes into the mix. It's like Flickbob, and they all want. You get the impression that there's not a strong consensus in the goblin tribe about who's in charge of it. And also, they're all looking for something. And for some reason, this object that they're looking for could probably settle their debate about who's in charge.
Am I able to get any idea of how many of them there are there?
There are 2 here. How many there are in the tribe? No, you have no idea.
Oh, no, not in the tribe. Just like right here. I just hear like 2 of them in the bushes.
There's just 2 of them arguing, yeah.
Steve, did they hit traps?
No, because they didn't come into the clearing. They didn't approach the hut.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I think Calico is a pretty cautious guy. He's not going to... He's going to keep an eye on these goblins, like, wait for them to leave, try to make note of where, like, which direction they're heading in.
Okay.
But he's not going to engage with them.
Okay. They do eventually trudge off. They don't go back the same way, but they head in the same general direction as the trail you followed before. Remembering what Faustine said, and remembering also that this is third watch, you know they have to get home soon.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of explicitly the reason I wanted to let them go.
Right. Yeah, they head off that way.
Yeah, no, like, so after they leave, I'm going to go back in, finish out watch. When everyone wakes up, I will fill them in on the exciting encounter that just happened.
Do you have anything that's comparable to like an insight skill? If not, just roll wisdom.
Cooking?
No. You can just roll wisdom.
Oh wow, I made it.
Okay. Yeah. So what? This is not a huge piece of information, but it's worth noting. You believe the reason these goblins didn't follow the trail of the other goblins, being a somewhat experienced woodsman yourself, you believe the reason they didn't follow that trail is because they didn't have to. These forest goblins are so at home in this forest that they could find their way home blindfolded. They are free to take a different path to the same place, and they will not get lost. This
That
place
makes
is,
sense.
it's like their magical domain. They are just never going to get lost here.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I will add that as part of my recanting of what had happened during the night, during third watch.
Okay.
How many hours before dawn was this?
2 hours before dawn.
Wow, their den must be close then.
Yeah. Well, relatively.
Yeah. How
Okay.
big is a grove? Like, are we talking about a literal single location, or are we talking about the whole forest?
Yeah.
Or would I know that?
Roll intelligence on that.
Okay. Can I add my folklore bonuses?
Yes.
All right.
And also, you know what? Since you're in the hut with all the books, go ahead and add another +1 on that.
That is just enough because I rolled an 18. So that's, yeah.
Wow. All right. The
Rolled
+1 did it.
terribly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you are. I wouldn't have let you roll for this at all, except for your last question, which was, "Are we talking about the whole forest?" No, you're not talking about the whole forest. A goblin den is a finite location. You don't really know how big they are. It could be anywhere from like a single cave to like a bigger like apartment complex sized area, but it's a place where a bunch of goblins live.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure because you said they have to be in their grove by
Right.
sunup. I just wanted to be sure grove didn't. It wasn't like.
It does mean something a little different when you're talking about forest goblins. The grove is like the word for their den or their nest. So it might. It's not literally just like a clearing in the trees, like what you might think of with the word grove normally, but it is a finite spot within the forest that is theirs.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right. So are you guys heading out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Akshay, when you wake up, you see, in addition to hearing Calico's tale, you see everyone passing money to Faustine.
I just like wince at them, and I pulled out some of the stale bread that I had stolen the night before, and said, "I'm not." And I whisper, "I'm not sharing either."
You stole it from Faustine.
No, I stole it from behind the tavern.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The
Okay.
scraps, yeah.
Yeah, and also you kind of halfway don't believe Calico's story because you were awake all night and you didn't hear any goblins.
Yeah. But
you didn't see him leave either.
It's also not cool though to like call him out, so I'm not going to because I don't want to embarrass him.
Yeah. He never left the house. You were with him the whole night. Like, yeah.
But if ever comes up any discrepancies, I'll be sure to make sure to point out that he didn't even leave the den last night.
Sure. In fact, you're not even sure he took watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you guys get out on the trail, and let's have either Calico or Faustine roll a survival check. I'll say with both of you together. Let's have Faustine roll it,
Yeah.
and with both of you together, it'll be an additional +2.
Okay.
This is to see, because after you go about 45 minutes, the trail becomes harder to follow. They clearly have started attempting to hide their tracks. When they were close to the village, they didn't bother, but once they're into the woods, they are. So go ahead and roll that, and let me know what you got.
I rolled a 5.
Against?
So that's against just a 15 for intelligence or wisdom, and that's not even before the bonuses.
Gotcha. So yeah, you did super well. The trail is, despite their best efforts, pretty obvious because they're staggering around, running into trees with pots on their heads, and some of the goblins were clearly bringing up the rear guard, brushing away footprints and like trying to hide where branches had been broken, but they didn't do a super great job. And you are able, with that roll, to follow the trail for several hours, and you're able to get to this stream where the trail disappears by early afternoon. And I'm assuming you guys left shortly after sunrise.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
you
we
get
stocked up on whatever trail rations I had in the hut. So we've got some snacks at least.
Yeah, so you get there by early afternoon, and you see this stream heading through the trees in this spot where the bushes and shrubs and trees in this area start to become really tightly grown together, really gnarled. And even as you approach the stream, the sunlight is getting completely blocked out by the canopy of trees overhead, which until this point had been pretty typical, like spots of light like you get in a forest. But at this point, the trees are growing so close together that it's getting straight up dark here. And you see this stream runs in between these tightly woven brambles. And that is where the goblin footprints go. They seem to be passing through this wall of brambles and twisted, knotted branches and vines through the only opening, which is where this stream passes through it.
So it's like a stream that we could like walk in, not like a river per se.
It's not
We
a
have to
river.
ford this.
You would have to ford it, yes.
Okay.
It's not a river. It's probably it might get deep enough to swim through at some parts, but like really you only need to be in it for a short time to get into the whatever it is beyond this wall of branches.
Now,
Turning
With
off
dark,
the
I
map.
sure hope we brought torches or lanterns.
Should have
I
taken
definitely
majorly.
have flint and tinder.
Yeah,
Yep.
got some of that too.
I will want athletics checks from everyone to ford or swim this stream without ruining your equipment in the process.
Okay.
It's not dangerous to the extent that like you guys could drown here. That's not going to happen. But you're talking about flint and tinder, and I know you have food rations and stuff. In order to keep that from getting destroyed, I'll need athletics checks from each of you.
Is that going to be strength or dexterity or a choice?
You know what? I will let you choose and describe to me how you do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, looking at mine, it turns out my scores are exactly the same. So, and for those of us that had in our backstory that we, spent our time hanging out with the fishermen, I don't suppose we could get a little anything extra for being familiar with jumping around rivers.
Nope.
All right.
We just
Worth a
it's
try.
stories with the fishermen.
Yeah, it is in part a fishing village with a river running right through it.
Yes.
I will assume that the general ability to swim is already covered by your scores.
Yeah.
We're just seeing if we can do this without ruining some of our junk.
Yep.
So I rolled a 15 out of 19.
Okay.
And I think it's, what is it, ducks that carry? No, it's not ducks. Doesn't make any sense. What animal carries all of their youth on their back as they swim across?
It's a duck.
Is it duck?
Sure, maybe a swan.
That's
Either
a new
way.
one on me. So
I'm
you...
gonna put
A waterfowl of some type.
That's all right. So you do that with your stuff?
Yeah, and I breaststroke just across.
Okay. I mean, if you had it in a backpack, it's kind of already up there. So sure,
Yeah.
just swim appropriately. And with your incredible dexterity roll, you are able to get through the brambles without the backpack getting caught on anything or spilling out. Did anyone fail this?
I got a nat 20.
All right.
Worst.
That's normally a good thing.
I know.
Do you want to spend a fortune
I came
point
so
on
close to that.
it? So did you also fail, Calico?
No, because I have a 19 dex.
Did you get a 19?
Yes.
All right.
Pass.
Yeah, I'm like we're swimming under brambles.
Under and like to the side, yeah. There's just a little space to keep your stuff dry.
All right. I will indeed spend a fortune point to re-roll. Sorry, but did you want to describe yours?
I'll describe mine while
yeah.
you re-roll. So Calico is less swimming and more dexterously kind of climbing along the bottom or along the brambles, making sure to not stick himself while still keeping all of his gear out of the water.
You barely pull that off, but you do it.
Just barely,
Just
literally just barely.
Like if it was 5% worse. Yeah.
Yes.
Heinrich, I did not hear if you passed this. Did you pass this?
I did. I got a 15 with a 15 out of 18. And with my strapping athletic abilities as a strong, soon-to-be knight, I just go fast swimming across the creek and under the brambles fast enough that the water doesn't damage my stuff.
All right, and I'll say, since you used strength for this, I'll just assume you just barreled right through. You actually broke off one of the lower branches as you passed by. Faustine, how'd your reroll go?
Not great. I got an 18 against 10. So that's a fortune point gone down the river, just like however much of my stuff you would like to destroy.
I don't know that I have a list of your stuff.
Sure, I'll let you.
But
I'm just gonna list it off real quick.
Use common sense. All your stuff gets wet, so whatever is ruined by being wet is ruined.
Yeah, the question. Oh, you know what? There might be something. Let me take a look at something here. Sorry, I'm just checking. The only thing that really could be ruined, I have my, because most of my stuff, I'm just going to get wet and cranky about it. Because I imagine myself trying to swim underneath, and I actually have a staff, and it gets stuck, and I try to like pull it out and just fall in.
Okay.
I have my according to my class, I have to keep my good berries, my enchanted berries, in a leather pouch, never before used, that I stitched myself. I had 4 of them. Perhaps I'll roll a d4 to see how many I lose in the river.
If the pouch is closed, you won't lose the berries.
Okay.
But I was gonna say, do you have any like flint and tinder? Do you have any like books or anything like
Actually,
that just
no,
can't get
everything. I'm not that kind of witch. I've just clothing, my big colorful cloak, a song flute, a dagger, my staff, 6 silver and 2 copper, and
Okay.
4 good berries.
Well, you are the last one in. You are caught up on the brambles. Your staff is stuck. You're trying to yank it out. Heinrich comes barreling through and catches you and yanks you through where Calico and Akshay are already waiting. And
Yes.
there you all stand. You are able to climb up out of the stream at this point, and you find yourself in what could only be described as a tunnel. You are not underground, but the trees and branches and brush here have grown so gnarled and so close together that you may as well be underground. And it's just this winding tunnel of wood and plant matter, basically, that you are standing in. And it does lead ahead to where you can hear some noises being made, some very goblin-y type noises. And at this point, with you having entered the Forest Goblin Grove, we're going to go ahead and take our 10-minute break. And we'll come back to see how many of them you can kill on your way out.
I'm ready to pull out my sword. I'm ill-equipped to use.
Absolutely. All right, everyone.
I'm very to use.
Like I said, thank you for watching. We'll be back in 10 minutes. I have 10:05. I think we're all in Pacific time tonight. So we'll be back at 10:15, and we'll see you all then. Thanks for watching. Hello, and welcome back to Tales from the Backlog. We are playing Beyond the Wall and Other Adventures, which is deceptive in its naming, because Beyond the Wall is not the name of an adventure, and it's certainly not the one that we're playing, and also we're not playing any other adventures tonight, so we're not playing Beyond the Wall and Other Adventures. We're playing one other adventure. The Wicked Dark. Anyway, our heroes and Akshay stand in and their kid sidekick stand
slightly more kid sidekick.
Stand in the grove of a forest goblin. There's one now, forest goblin.
Ew.
You stand in the grove of some forest goblins who have come to the town of Pinefall and stolen all the cookware and a sheep.
They murdered Heinrich's best friend.
Yeah.
/ hero.
Well,
My mentor.
I mean, all we know for sure is like combat trainer, right? A guy Heinrich knows. Is dead anyway.
And they stole a sheep.
They did
Did
take
they?
a sheep. Well, there was a sheep that was missing, and her fur was on the goblin trail.
The sheep is actually the mastermind behind all of this.
That's what I said.
It's called wool when it comes from a sheep. It's not fur. It's called wool.
Yeah.
Nobody ever makes the opposite mistake, like dog wool. How much cat wool are you getting there, Jason?
Fair amount.
Cool. Yeah, so you guys, the taller among you have to hunch a little bit low as the darkness, the dark, twisting tunnel of thorny branches is goblin-sized. You can
So,
almost stand up straight.
Akshay fits pretty good.
Yep.
Actually, fits pretty good, and he makes it a point to pull out his short sword, which is in a leather scabbard, but you hear him go kshing as he pulls it out.
Yeah, and I'll say Faustine is able to stand up straight. Heinrich, I would imagine to be taller and might have to crouch a little. No, not tall.
No, not able to stand.
Yeah.
I would have to
And
crouch.
Calico, I don't know how your height compares to the would-be knight here, but you might have to crouch a little bit as well.
I'm probably shorter. Like Calico is most likely shorter than Heinrich. Like he's not short, so I mean he definitely has to stoop a little bit here, but
Fair.
not as
He's not
much.
short, but he's not tall either.
So the stream that you entered through passes out under the side again, and does not does not flood the rest of this tunnel. It kind of only blocks the entrance. And you, hello, Strellick. And you are, as I mentioned before the break, you hear the chittering voices of goblins up ahead.
Do y'all mind if I sneak ahead a little bit to try and get a better listen in on what they're talking about?
Go for it.
Yes.
Only if I go with you.
Okay, but please keep your mouth shut.
I'm
And your hands to yourself.
Okay, I made that.
You made it. Akshay, also
Make my
roll
stealth
stealth,
check.
please.
Oh shit! That was my first 20 of the night.
That's bad.
I know, which is why I said shit.
You have okay. You have your
Oh,
fortune
wait.
points.
Yeah,
You got 5 of them.
I got
'Cause
5
you're a
of them,
rogue.
so I
Okay,
should-
that shit is in character.
Unless you actually
Akshay
want to
trips and
reply to my
screams out.
please keep your mouth shut with a loud, of course I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Right. I was gonna say failure is often interesting. You may want to just yell
Mhm.
"oh shit" in the middle of trying to sneak up.
Man, but I also don't want to die. I'm the protagonist. I rolled an 18, so I passed.
Cutting it
Protagonist.
close there, bud.
All right. So you guys are able to just barely sneak up. Akshay you're about to like step on this really loud branch, but Calico's passage sort of looses some dirt, and the branch that you're about to step on just just scoots a little bit out of the way so you don't step on it. What an incredible stroke of fortune that was. And you guys reach a big opening where the branches sort of spread out. You're still in this weird kind of like tree-based tunnel system, but ahead of you, where it widens out, you see that there's like dirt ground, so like there's walls and a roof of branches as I've described, but the ground here is the actual ground of the forest, and they have dug into it quite extensively. There is in fact like an open mine here. It's mine might not be the correct word for what you're looking at. It's more like a quarry that you're at the top of, and you can't see into it deep enough to see what they're digging for, but you can hear that they're yelling at each other. They're arguing. You see a couple of these forest goblins on one side, and you see two other odd-looking creatures they're clearly not the same type of creature on the other side. They're even smaller than the goblins, and they're yelling back. And you can't understand everything because their speech is just so heavily marred by their weird, inhuman mouths. But they're having a fight about what to do with what they've dug up and who's in charge of it. And then while they are having that conversation, Calico, I'd like you to roll me. You can choose wisdom or intelligence, whatever you might best apply to just knowing what type of creature this other creature is.
I'd go with wisdom on that. And oh yeah, I got it.
Okay. You have not seen one before, but based on what you've heard and their proximity to goblins, you think these are kobolds.
So they've got like doggish snouts, like some fur.
You know what? This game does not describe the kobolds, so they can be old-timey kobolds or new-timey kobolds, whatever you like, but they live with goblins now. They're part of the goblinoid race. So I would think that they tend to mammal, yeah? Goblins are mammals.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so a couple of goblins...
That's what people say, but, you know...
couple of goblins arguing with a couple of kobolds. And just as things are about to get heated, another creature steps out of the shadows around the corner where you couldn't quite see. Much bigger, thickly muscled, with a whip at his side and a club in his other hand. Big tusks coming out the bottom jaw. You know, even though you've never seen one before, you know without having to ask, this is an orc. And he yells at the other creatures, "Get back to work!" And they do.
Ooh.
They scramble down into the pit.
Am I able to see at all what they had dug up and were arguing over?
Excuse me. They have like a mine cart full of something, but it's so dark in here you can't quite tell what it is.
That's fair. Yeah, Akshay, let's report back to the others and get a consensus on what we want to do here. All right? And I put my hand on your shoulder and start gently moving you back towards Faustine and Heinrich.
All those valuable shepherding skills you've developed.
You do see I am brandishing a sling now, and I'm holding a rock.
One of the ones you stole from in front of the inn.
Really steal a rock.
I would, if he'd just picked up the rocks, I would have said that as well. But somehow he managed to steal rocks.
I'm that good of a thief.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we get back to Faustine and Heinrich, there's like goblins down here, there's kobolds down here, there's an orc down here. And that orc is going pretty solid. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
The references from this guy.
Yeah.
This might be silly. And
silly
in this game where you've brought a 13-year-old to a goblin cave?
Yeah. I'm going to ask the party, y'all think we could get the goblins and the kobolds, which you said, it sounds like they're getting run a little bit ragged by these orcs. Turn against their taskmasters, as it were. Do you think that's something we could do, or do you think that's too much of a risk?
I'm going to ask Calico and Akshay to make a wisdom check for insight on the conversation that you witnessed.
I make a folklore check.
No, you weren't there.
Okay.
So,
Ooh.
if I don't have a skill, is there any extra penalties?
No, you just don't get a bonus.
I got a 16 out of 8.
I got an 11 out of 12.
So Calico passed.
Yes.
Just barely. What that gets you is this orc, when he intervened, he was not there to assert his authority in terms of the argument they were having about who's in charge. The orc doesn't give a shit who's in charge of the tribe as a whole. He just gives a shit that they get back to work.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care who's in charge because he's in charge.
Right.
They care who's in charge because they're not in charge.
Right, but yeah, your read on it is like this guy is like, my job is to keep the trains running. I don't care who the president is.
Yeah,
like that's how this orc was saying this.
What if I say I'm in charge?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly, man, I don't think. I mean, unless you have some sort of actual affinity with goblins, I don't think we're really going to be able to turn them on themselves.
I think I have an affinity with everybody.
Without some genuine leverage. If we had some real genuine leverage, maybe we could do something. But we do not have that right now.
I got a small farm. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I just scratched that. I don't know
valuable gem
I just
that they didn't want. They found it and left it.
And I'm pretty good at haggling. My father is a merchant.
Nope.
I had just looked at what was on my character sheet and said the first item I saw, which was a small farm.
Yeah, you do have a small farm. I know.
Yeah.
You're an interesting. You're an interesting child.
Heinrich, I have a question.
Stop trying to get back.
What is it that you want to accomplish? Do you want revenge? Do you want them to just not come back? What do we want to do? Do we want to figure out why they're trying to steal our cookware so we can stop them? What is it that you want? Because I owe you a big one, and I'll help you, but I need to know what it is that I'm helping you do.
You know, I hadn't stopped to ask my inner valorous heart says vengeance, but I really just don't want anyone I know to get hurt again, and they are a threat. I just want to neutralize the threat, be it through eliminating them or just getting them to go somewhere else.
Oh, I have an idea. So the water, right? Is there a way we could direct the water coming from the river to flood this quarry? It would make them have to leave.
It would be a couple weeks of work with a bunch of men and shovels.
Okay.
Unless you've got, unless you've inherited an entire squadron of workers along with that farm, I don't think we can do that.
Roll 1d4 to see how many workers you inherited.
Oh shit! I dropped that dice. Ugh. I got 3 people that listen to a 13-year-old.
No, I didn't say they listen to you.
I think they listen, and that's all that matters.
You sleep in a treehouse. You have a farm, and you choose to sleep in a treehouse.
But Calico, you think we can take them?
I mean, that really depends on how many them there is overall. Honestly, like, it does, like, it seems like there is some, like, the orc don't care, but the goblins seem to have a real genuine care about who's in charge and they need something to be in charge. Like, so, I mean, we could maybe try and find whatever it is that symbolizes being in charge.
I have an idea, Calico.
But I think just some wanton violence is going to be a little detrimental to our ability to walk out of this area. Period.
It's fair.
My idea is we ice the big guy, and then supplant the goblin leader as make ourselves the leader.
Yeah, well, we haven't met the goblin leader yet.
He doesn't exist, right? He doesn't exist. Otherwise, they would have one.
Here's the thing. Kinda, yeah. Like, that seems to be like the gist of what. That seemed to be, on some level, the gist of what the goblins that were arguing outside of Faustine's hut were getting at. Like, there's not like a struggle for leadership and control of their tribe. They're just constantly trying to like argue who the leader is. Oh my. So I don't really know what we can do about that without learning more about what there is, like, what's going on with the general realpolitik of their tribe. Says the guy with, I'm pretty sure, the worst intelligence of the group.
I don't know. I got a 9.
I got a 16.
I have an 8.
Oh, wow.
What are we
What's
rolling?
real politics? I only know valor and glory.
Wow, even I don't know what realpolitik is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do I have the highest intelligence at 16?
No, yes, you do. I only have 15. That's terrifying. Okay.
Kids are smart, man.
Supplanting the goblin.
He is smart.
That's the plan. We're gonna supplant the goblin leadership.
Wait, maybe if we need to know, I may not know the word realpolitik, but I recognize the word real. What if we need to know what's really going on? What if we just grab one? The 4 of us have got to be a match for a single goblin. We can interrogate it, find out what's actually happening. Get some real information.
That is potentially not a terrible plan. What sort of capabilities does Faustine have with regards to incapacitating others?
I actually have a spell called Petrifying Gaze.
Ooh.
The thing is, though, I can only cast one spell a day. So it will be a one shot.
I'm pretty good at knocking things over the head.
Yeah,
But you
I
have
incapacitate things pretty good.
you have cantrips and potentially a ritual that you could also cast in
Yes.
addition to your one regular spell, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be all my magic for the day, but it would be like a big chunk of it.
I mean, I'm kind of half asking as me and half asking as Calico.
Yeah.
Like, because the 3 rest of us are relatively okay at potentially murdering things.
Oh,
But I don't know how good we are at just incapacitating them.
Okay. Why don't we make a commotion to lure one of them? They're pretty cowardly already. Why don't I make a little ruckus to lure one of them here, and then Heinrich can give him the maneuver, you know?
The Heinrich maneuver.
yes. The later we get, the worse the puns get.
Yep.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah. Sounds like an
Okay.
idea.
All right.
It definitely sounds like an idea. Let's try it.
Okay.
Okay.
you
So
guys-
Akshay, you're gonna sneak up and try and lure one of them over here.
Yeah, so we're like in a quarry, so we're like above them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When you saw them, they were in the lip of it, and then they went down in when the orc yelled at them.
Okay.
But right now, you're a good distance away from there because you came back to Faustine and Heinrich to have this conversation.
Okay. So I imagine I can like get Calico and Faustine like shoved like back a little bit, like back away. And then I can like throw an object to like get them to freak out, and I assume their reaction will be, "What was that? No, you go check that out. No, you go check that out." And then one of them will go after being peer pressured.
If you're asking me if you can walk up to the quarry and throw a rock, the answer is yes.
Yeah, okay. So I have this jar of liquid that I'm going to throw.
Is it pee?
Yeah, it's pee.
So it's a jar of foul-smelling liquid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even have that.
Because I have hunter skills, so I was like, I need a jar of pee.
It's not even your pee. It's like wolf pee or something.
It's coyote pee. Fox. It's fox urine. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Akshay says that. I'm like, I hate that that's an answer that makes sense.
I am well prepared for everything.
Oh. All right.
So I take it and I just throw this jar of piss at them, next to them, like not on them, but like next to them, to like, what the hell was that? You know?
Okay, so when you come up to where you found this quarry before, one of the goblins has come back out and is loading what looks like it might be coal into this mine cart. Are you going to throw at him, or are you going to blindly throw it into the hole?
I'm gonna throw it. I'll aim. I kind of want to throw it out of line of sight, out of all of them, but definitely in earshot, because it'll still be like glass shattering, right?
Okay.
So,
So you're going to throw it into the hole?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Roll me. This is my own mechanic. It's not from the game, but I like to do it. Roll me a straight d20. This is a luck check. The higher you roll, the better things are going to go for you.
Oh no.
Oh no. Can we keep this theme and just reverse the whole table?
Nope.
I rolled a 6. Can I fate point that or whatever? Fortune point.
No. You've thrown the thing. It shatters. And the goblin by the coal cart sees the motion of the jar flying into the hole and turns and lays eyes on you before you're able to get back into the tunnel. And he does a goblin yell of "Ah!" And the other goblin pops up out of the hole, and the two of them run after you into the tunnel.
Oh, they run after me. That's crazy.
Yep.
Right.
But they have also raised the alarm, and there are two of them coming instead of the one that you were hoping for.
Good thing we're in a quarry, not a forest. They lose their racial bonus.
Nope, you're in a forest quarry.
Christ.
You're in a forest quarry, bud. Here they come.
Hurry.
So I guess violence is the answer now.
We are going to begin initiative.
All right.
Faustine, what is your initiative number? It's pretty low. It's lower than the others. It's why you're where you
Super
are.
low. I think I don't have. Yeah, it's 0. Big old
It's 0?
goose egg.
Okay, so the goblins will go in between Heinrich and Faustine. And otherwise, we will go clockwise, starting with Calico. You see Akshay run back into the tunnel, and two of the goblins are right hot on his heels. What will you do?
Oh, beans. I drop. I don't drop. I drop a stone into my sling and try and sling one of them as they charge.
Roll to attack. AC 14.
Oh my glob. 15.
You have hit him.
Let's see how I hit him. 3 damage.
Oh, you clock this goblin right between the eyes, and his head snaps back. He's not down, but he's kind of staggering forward a little bit out of it. Yeah. Akshay, what will you do?
I will pull out my sling, put a rock in it, and beam the other guy right in the forehead.
Okay, roll that. Still 14 AC.
I'm going to miss. Wait.
Oh,
No, I need a high number now. My bad.
yeah.
Yeah, I rolled a 2. I rolled a 5.
You still missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Calico beans this goblin in the forehead, right between the eyes. You are super impressed, and you try to do the same, but you're still a little too rattled, and also 13, and you just miss. Heinrich, you're up.
So would you say they're about equidistant from the tunnel entrance?
Yeah. From.
Is like one ahead of the other?
Yeah, they're next to each other. They're shoulder and shoulder to shoulder.
All right, I'm gonna. So I assume we're all in this tunnel, right? That leads into the quarry right now. Just kind of trying to hold like a defensive position.
Yeah, Akshay went ahead, and my impression was the rest of you were a little bit away back in the tunnel.
Yeah. I want to like impose myself in the entrance to the tunnel and like wait for whichever one gets to me first. I want to swing at the first one to get to me.
Okay. To be clear, you're not near the entrance. You're back from it. They're already in the tunnel, so you can still stand up in between them and your friends, but you're not blocking an entrance to anything.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I. It's functionally the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay. You do that, and I don't know if I saw any kind of mechanic for holding an action, but they are going to reach you on their turn, which is right after yours. So, let's see. Yeah, there's no such mechanic. So, you can wait till you
slice them a bit and then attack them, maybe.
Yeah, you could move up to them and attack if you want to move ahead.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Okay.
I'll hit the one that wasn't beamed.
Go for it.
I got a 22.
Yeah, you got him. What's the damage?
Let's see. It's probably gonna be more than 3. I got 10 damage.
You chop his head off, and it hits as it goes flying off. It hits the other goblin in his head. Cody, I wanted to ask you, when you rolled your attack, did you remember that your weapon was blessed in the prologue scene?
Yes.
It's +1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still 6.
I don't know if that's the weapon you used.
I actually wasn't sure. Was it all my weapons or just my quote-unquote primary weapon?
Whatever your primary weapon is, just one weapon.
Okay.
You can choose which one.
Okay.
So one of the goblins is still alive. He was chasing Akshay. Heinrich is clearly now the real threat. He's going to try and kill you.
Okay.
He has rolled 20. Dirty 20.
He hits me?
Yep. And the damage
Ow.
is 2.
Ow.
Yes, he has 2 damaged you, and now his turn is over. Faustine, what will you do? There's only one goblin still alive in your field of view right now, but you're aware that there are more that heard him yell.
Okay. The last thing Akshay did was kind of push me and Calico into hiding so he could go forward without us. What I would like to do ideally is step out from that hiding place and just whack this goblin across the back of his skull with my staff.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say go ahead and take a +1 for coming out of nowhere for that.
Okay. No, I'm going to need it. This is going to be a...
Actually,
So
let me say this. Roll a stealth check first, and I'll give you +2 to the stealth since he's not looking for you and he sees everyone else. If you pass the stealth check, then you can get a bonus to your attack.
Okay, and stealth checks are not something I looked into before this.
Dexterity.
Dexterity, and so I want to roll below my dexterity score.
Yes.
Okay. And add 2 to the dexterity score.
Yeah.
Yeah, that failed.
Okay, so you don't get a bonus to your attack, but you can roll it as normal.
Okay. All right, I will roll my dex attack. And I get no bonuses. None.
Cool.
And that also failed. I rolled a 14 against my my strength and my dexterity are both 10. So
No, an attack roll. An attack roll. You are rolling against his AC, and a 14 hits.
Oh, wonderful!
Hey.
All right.
14 is his AC. I believe it's meet or beat, and you met, so you have hit him.
I hit him. I do D6 of damage.
All right.
And that is a 5.
You kill him 5 times on the way to the ground.
Yeah, that's Faustine's reaction is whack.
Yeah. So the sequence of events here is Akshay, who was gonna try and get rid of them. You hear this yell from this goblin, and Akshay comes tearing back as fast as he can with 2 goblins right behind him. Calico's ready as hell, beans one of them right in the forehead. Heinrich steps up, chops the other one's head off. Akshay's rock goes wide, mostly because Heinrich is in the way chopping. And then Faustine, just scared as hell, steps out and cracks the same one that Calico hit so hard that it's right as the other goblin's head is hitting him in the head. At the same moment, your staff caves his face in. His nose just pushes in. And the reason that you react the way you do is that you can feel his spine break, his neck break when you snap his head back that hard. Dark. Yeah. Okay. And the goblin crumples down at your feet.
I kind of nudge both corpses with my foot, and I go, "Yep, definitely some incapacitation here."
In the moment, in the moment of silence that follows, you hear that orc's voice go, "Well, go check on him."
Oh, beans!
I would like to. Do I have enough time to set up a bear trap?
I say, let's pull the bodies in.
No, you do not have time to set up a trap.
I have another one and help you drag it.
There's no time. We're still in initiative.
Yeah.
Don't have time.
Yeah. Calico, it's your turn. You have heard this orc yell. You are aware that he has sent someone after you.
So at this point, what I'd like to do is run up to the edge of the passageway, this entrance tunnel, and sort of hide at that corner. Wait for whatever is coming up to come past me.
Okay.
And then grab it and muzzle it while I'm grabbing it.
Okay.
None of these things I am the stealth thing I'm good at. The rest of it I'm not very good at.
Okay, so we will say that you run up and hide. So roll that stealth check, please.
All right. I made it with a 17.
Okay, great. So I still haven't seen anything about a ready action, but we'll say that you can do that. Just be ready to grab one as they come by. Akshay, your turn.
Do I have enough time to actually like run up and put down a bear trap and have it be set?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
Traps take time to do.
Where did you get a bear trap?
It's on my farm, dude. I guess I just prepare rope and fishing line to tie this guy up.
Okay. So you just pull out some rope and stuff.
Yeah. Some rope and stuff. Oh, and now question before I end my turn. What were the goblins using as weapons? Pickaxes or?
They had short swords.
Damn. Okay. All right, that's all.
Short swords.
I
Heinrich.
only took 2.
What will you do?
First, I'm going to look at Faustine and say, it's not your fault. You had to do it. And then I'm going to go take up a defensive position near the front of the tunnel. And hope only one guy comes in the tunnel. And if there's only one I can hear, I'll bonk him. I guess there's not really ready to actions. So,
Calico has moved towards near the front to lie in wait for one. Are you moving further ahead of Calico, or are you gonna sort of stay further in the tunnel than Calico so that they'll pass him before they get to you?
I'll stay further in.
Okay.
And then I'll make some kind of attack if they get past him. Like if there's only one, I'll just like bonk him, I guess. Or if there's one Calico gets, I'll cut him. I don't know.
Okay. At this time, it's their turn. The 2 kobolds that you saw previously come running into the tunnel. One in front of the other. Calico, split decision. You can grab the first one or the second one.
Second one.
Okay. Roll. I guess it'll be like strength versus his dex.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have a dex. Yeah, just roll your strength, I guess.
Okay.
There's not really a contested roll dynamic or mechanic.
Wait, I actually think... Give me... I think I saw a contest, like a opposed roll. Don't even.
Let me try and search that up.
Yeah.
Contested rolls. Yeah, page 20. Whoever succeeds by the most is successful by that margin. Okay, so we both make the appropriate roll. What did you roll? You rolled strength, right?
Well, I rolled a 14 against my strength of 12.
Okay, so you have failed.
You gotta see if you fail worse.
Yeah.
No, that... If all parties fail, it doesn't matter who failed the worst.
The goblin, or the kobold, I have no idea what his strength stat is. They don't do that on stat blocks. This is something that would be resolved if we just had more time to learn the game. That happens. But he rolled a 1 anyway, so he got...
He was like hustling, and Calico's quick, but he's not really good at grabbing people. So he lunges out just right behind this kobold.
Yep. You don't get him. He's small, he's wiry, he's quick, and he's past you. Faustine.
Do I get to cut down the one in front?
I'll say he hasn't reached you yet. I know I let Calico hold an action, but
Okay.
yeah, it's not really in the rules, so we'll come back to you. They haven't attacked yet anyway. Faustine, it's your turn.
I am going to use a cantrip. I am going to cast Blessing on Heinrich. And the way this cantrip works is I'm giving you if I roll against my stat, in this case Wisdom, and if I succeed, you get a +2 to an action that I designate. And I'm going to say the action is take one of them alive.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming that's what you're trying to do, right? We're trying to grab one of them alive.
Yes.
Or are you trying to kill him? Okay.
Well, that's what Calico wanted to do.
We're gonna get
Calico's
one
fine.
alive and kill the other, probably.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, fingers crossed. Barely made it. That's a 14 against my 15 wisdom. So yeah. So you get, yeah. I whisper that to you, Heinrich, and touch you, and you feel that like magic sink in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then I'll step back.
Calico, your turn.
Oh, it's me again. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna pick myself up off the ground and attempt to slingstone the kobold closest to me.
Okay, same one you tried to grab.
Yeah.
They're running away. They straight up still haven't seen you, so they're just running right past you towards Heinrich at this point.
And that is 18 versus their armor class.
13, you have hit.
For 4 damage.
Your rock embeds itself right at the base of the kobold's skull, and he skids to a stop at Heinrich's feet. Akshay, your turn.
All right, I'm gonna use my last rock, all of my possession, to beat in the other one.
Okay, at this point, are you attempting to kill it or to knock it out?
I'm just trying to hit him in the chest.
Okay.
So.
I say, is there only one left?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna let me roll like non-lethally. I'm just gonna hit him in the chest, and if I hit him in the head, I hit him in the head. Rocks are dangerous.
Rocks are dangerous.
That's why slings should do a lot more damage than they do in Dungeons and Dragons.
Cody's just over there like, I can't control what rocks do, guys.
Okay, so for the record, I rolled a 16 to hit, and then I rolled a 1 + 1 for damage. So 2.
Heinrich, you see this rock Akshay is throwing. It's 100% gonna kill this kobold. But you have a magical spell, a cantrip upon you that will give you a +2. And the words I heard were to take one of them alive. You have a chance to try and do something to save this kobold's life.
All right, I'm gonna try and grapple him, sling my shield quick and grapple him, and hope the rock hits my shield.
Okay, I'm gonna say this is gonna be a dex check for you, and it's gonna be +2 from Faustine's cantrip. If you pass, you will negate one of those points of damage.
Okay. I passed. It's equal or lower. I hit equal.
Okay.
Nice.
So, Akshay, you step out, you throw this rock at this kobold. I don't know why, you're just mad at him, I guess, aiming for his chest. You completely miss his chest, and you realize like your hands are just too sweaty. You swam through the water. It sucks in here, and you're throwing this thing, and it's gonna hit his face for sure. But almost the same instant that it leaves your hand, your boy Heinrich just sort of moves up and deflects the rock. The kobold still gets hurt because Heinrich's big ass body just like crushes him a little bit when he moves up to grab him. But instead of the 2 points, which is 100% of his life, he only takes 1 point of damage.
Yeah, I basically just did a get down, Mr. President, on this kobold.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And that's your kobold now, Heinrich.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I'm assuming if it on my turn, I want to if I can do this while I still have him grabbed, I want to knock away any weapon he has.
I'm gonna say for the moment, initiative is broken. You can knock away the weapon, and you have what is currently your last combatant grappled and restrained here. So for now, initiative is broken, but you are all keenly aware that there's an orc out there who knows something's going on.
I'm gonna whisper to this kobold who's probably squirming underneath me. If you keep quiet and help us out, you get to live.
Ah!
I'm haggling his life for his cooperation.
What? Help what?
We just
Help
wanna
what?
know why you raided our village and what it'll take for you to go away.
I smell.
What?
I smell.
You do smell.
I will. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, why did you steal my pot?
I tell them not right pots.
Not what pots?
Not right pots. I smell not right pots.
What pot are you looking for?
I smell now. He can't really see around him very well. You've got him restrained too much.
Do you smell food?
He smells the right pot now.
Smell good. Magic pot. Best food.
Magic pot?
Is those snacks you have?
Well, the only magic thing on me is the good berries I'm carrying. I very carefully get out one, and I hold it towards the kobold. I'm like, is this what you smell?
No! Take away!
All right.
He's trying to look around. He can't see anything basically except Heinrich and whatever is above Heinrich on the ceiling.
Okay, so I do have something called Sense Magic as a class feature. Now, how do I do this? It requires concentration and a few minutes. So I don't.
You don't have a few minutes.
But I do want to just look around and just make a straight intelligence check to see if I can figure out what the heck this kobold could possibly be talking about that one of us is carrying that, because that what he could possibly be talking about.
Okay, while you roll that, I'd like to ask Akshay and Calico what you guys are doing right now.
Would you like to go first?
Yeah, so Calico is actually going back to the entrance to the quarry.
Okay.
And he wants to I want to keep an eye on anything that's approaching. Or an eye out anything that's approaching.
Okay, that orc is he's pacing back and forth on the other side of the pit from where you are, looking in your direction. Go ahead and give me a stealth check to see if he sees you.
No, he does not.
Okay. He is obviously starting to wonder why his 4 minions have not come back.
I rolled a 6 on my intelligence check to figure out what the kobold could be smelling. It smells like magic.
Well, while you are thinking about that, you're standing there. You're trying desperately to figure out what this goblin could be smelling that's here, and he goes, "Smell going away. Not smell so much now."
It's the gem.
Oh, when he says, "Oh, go ahead, Justine."
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was not saying anything important.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
go for it. Neither was I.
Oh, okay. I had a bunch of I guess chum, like fish bait, and I was like this, and I was like presenting it to him like it was what he was smelling.
That's not what he was smelling, but he is trying to eat it.
Okay.
Faustine, I hadn't exactly resolved your check yet. With your intelligence, what you realize is whatever he was smelling, the smell faded when Calico walked away.
Okay. I will go sort of slip up, grab Calico, and pull him back. I'm going to be very careful in my approach since he is at the mouth of the cave. I'm not just going to like run up and grab his arm. I'm going to like stay back and like try to reach out and grab him from a distance. You smell. Come on.
Yeah, what's up?
I'll just
start retreating back to the.
Okay.
Yeah, I just drag you back.
Yeah, you're able to get him away from the mouth without alerting the orc. And you're back at the kobold. Heinrich, I assume you're still holding this guy on the ground just because you haven't told me otherwise. Do you want to do anything else with him?
If I could do it before I like get off him, can I take some rope off my waist and try to tie him so he can't run off, and then like so I can sit him up?
Yeah, I'll say you can do that. Yeah, there's enough time for that.
Cool. I'll do that.
The orc isn't particularly ambitious.
I just want to set up my bear trap somewhere.
Okay, if he has time to tie up a goblin or a kobold, you have time for a bear trap, sure.
Hell yeah.
Do you have like stats or something for what that does?
Even if it just immobilizes him so I can throw rocks at him, it's fine.
Okay. You got this kobold tied up. Calico, he can now see you. And he says, "That's the one! He has magic pot!"
You got grass on you?
I got some grass stains, but what's this guy talking about?
Empty out your pockets. He smells something magical, and it's whatever it is, you're carrying it.
No! Not carry. You!
What? I see that. What?
You're one.
Him?
You are one with magic pot.
Are you high right now?
No! Tied up on ground!
What are you talking about?
Calico, go ahead and roll me intelligence.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Roll 1.
Meat. I rolled an
Okay.
8.
All right. So you are staring at this guy, trying to just racking your brain. The gears are grinding in there. It's starting to smell like smoke.
Yeah, no, there's definitely smoke coming out my ears.
You don't know what the heck he
Yeah.
is talking about, but he's talking about a pot that smells like you, a magic pot. And you only own one pot. It's the one that you cook everything in. Well, you only use one pot. It's the one you cook everything in. It's a good pot.
Stews.
You make the greatest stews.
I
Almost
do.
nobody knows about it, but with your meat intelligence roll, you remember a couple times you were out camping and you had a stew on and you walked away from the campsite, and when you came back, it seemed like there was less stew than there should have been.
Wait, are you talking about my stew?
What?
How do you know about what I cook?
Oh, Goblin King! Goblin King, come to power by stealing magic stew from Magic Pot! He bring to us! He gained power!
How?
Question. Yes. How magical? Do you just mean it tasted very good?
I don't know, not allowed to eat! But I know where to find pot because I smell.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make y'all some stew if you really want.
Well, Goblin King die! Now, we need to find pot for new Goblin King!
And at this point, I like pull Calico over and I was like, I put my finger in his chest. You're gonna be the Goblin King. We're doing my plan. We're gonna supplant the Goblin government.
Yeah, but I don't have my...
Everyone,
Okay.
I'm gonna do a group luck check at this point. Everyone, please roll 1d20 and tell me your numbers.
20.
Okay.
14.
8.
Also 14.
Yeah, you do pretty good. All of you got 14 or higher. So, eventually that orc decides to come check this out. But it's your lucky day. He comes by himself. And you hear his big stompy boots coming down the tunnel. And he calls out, "Hey! Swine! What take you so long? Come back!" The kobold that you have tied up goes, "Ha! Ha!" So we'll go ahead and start on initiative. You guys hear him coming down the
Okay.
hallway. Calico, you're first. Yep.
I think we got our answer. Maybe it's time to go.
Yeah,
This is
fuck
a first contact situation, and you violated the Prime Directive before you even knew it.
Yeah, fuck it. Like,
There it is.
hold on,
I think.
fucking kobold.
You have overthrown. You're carrying the kobold? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying hold on to that fucking kobold.
Okay, he's tied up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm slinging a stone at this orc.
Hell yeah,
This
do
orc
it.
Doesn't give a shit. So, really? Really? I'm spending a fortune point to re-roll that.
Do it.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
using the other D20, because that just rolled 3 8s in a row.
Okay.
Usually that's really good.
What'd you get, boss?
12.
The orc comes around the corner and sees your sling bullet coming at him. And somehow, like, this is one of those things you're pretty sure has never happened before and will never happen again. But he comes around the corner, and your stone comes flying at him, and he just catches it. And he looks at you for a second, and you can almost see his brain going, this has never happened before and will never happen again. And he decides to make the most of it. He puts it in his mouth and swallows it.
Swallows the
He's
rock.
looking full eye contact while he eats your rock.
Yeah.
All right, Akshay, you're up.
Has he passed my bear trap yet?
Let me roll a luck check. He has not passed your bear trap yet.
Okay. I would like to collect a rock and beat him with it.
Go for it.
I do have a sling for the record. 18. Actually, 19.
You got him.
Hopefully by a lot. And I do 4 total damage.
So he starts choking on the rock that he swallowed because you hit him in the temple with another rock, like right away.
Does that mean he's dying on the ground now?
No, he's just like... Heinrich, you're up.
Did I see where Akshay put his bear trap?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get between... I want to stay behind the bear trap with my sword out. And I guess I'll just do nothing.
Okay. The orc comes running for you. He sees like the biggest guy there who's got a sword. Everyone else is like throwing rocks, but you actually have a sword. So he's going to come for you. He's just bellowing.
He hits the bear trap?
Pulls out his own long sword and hits the bear trap. Yeah.
I stayed far enough away he couldn't hit me from the bear trap. That was
Yeah.
the goal.
Bear trap grabs him. You know what, Cody? Roll 1d4 damage.
Yeah. 3.
The bear trap chops his foot completely off at the ankle. He is still trying to run, and he face plants on the ground. He is full dead.
Full dead. I didn't even get to smash him.
You still have a kobold.
We do
Nope.
still have the kobold.
Don't smash the kobold.
No.
All right. You guys have we're getting close to time. I want you guys to have time to finish what you want to do in this situation. You have barely entered the first room of this dungeon.
Yeah.
There's a full dungeon, and you have already solved the mystery, and nobody else is aware you're here. So, what do you want to do with the information that these goblins are using Calico's stew pot to determine who gets the leadership of the tribe?
Calico, would you be willing to donate your pot to stop
well,
the raid?
I actually, at this point, want to try and intervene with them, offer to make them more stew in my pot. In return, they would leave Pinefall alone and stop raiding wagons on the road, and make sure that they give back Blackie if she's still there.
Can ask, yeah.
Go ahead and roll me charisma with this kobold that you've captured. I assume he's who you're talking to, since he's the only one.
He's who I'm like. I intend to go. You
use him as a messenger.
Him to engage with the rest of the tribe.
Right.
So I'm spending a fortune point.
I'll also spend a fortune point to help him and give you a +2.
Thank you.
Oh,
Cool.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep.
kidding me?
Even with the help?
The help only brought me up to a 12.
Actually, would this be considered haggling that I could help him with since I have that skill? So I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
need
know
the
what?
point?
Go ahead and apply another +2 for Heinrich's haggling skill, since he already gave you help. So Heinrich giving you +4 instead of +2.
Yeah, it's still not going to help with that 18 I rolled.
Cool.
I'm trying. Give me a sec. I'm trying to look for a rules as written. If I can continue doing something.
You want to try another fortune point, is what you're getting
Yeah,
at.
I want to spend another fortune point and roll it again.
I'm gonna house rule. Just go ahead.
Okay.
Can I roll for blessing and add +2 as well? Because that will get you up. Because you just need one more +2.
No, I need 2 more +2s because I was at 14 and I had rolled an 18.
And then can I just use another fortune point? Like at that point?
By our powers combined, we will haggle with this kobold.
I passed my check, so you can have my blessing.
I think at this point, with like magical blessings and hagglings and constant attempts and the dead bodies of all his co-workers surrounding him, I think this has stopped being a persuasion haggling check and become a very successful intimidation check. But yeah, your pitch, Calico, is that you'll continue making stews on a regular basis for the Goblin tribe if they leave Pinefall alone. That is successful. It takes you a while to get this kobold's mind around the idea that he can become the leader now. He can be the new leader of the tribe. Because kobolds are generally a rung below the goblins. Yeah. The orcs are just muscle. The goblins kind of run the place. But this kobold becomes the only one who knows where the stew is. It turns out they have already eaten Blackie because she smelled like your stew. She had... They associated your own personal smell with the stew. Blackie had your smell on her, and she's made of meat, so they just straight up ate Blackie already.
R.I.P. Blackie.
I was hoping she would have escaped.
Well, she did not. But when you get back to the paddock, a few days later, another black sheep is born, and there is Blackie too. But after about 3 weeks of this deal with the kobold, you go to the regular meeting place where you've been giving him his stew, and he's not there. There's just 3 goblins, and they go, "Give pot! We make magic stew now!" They're brandishing their swords. You have not been foolish enough to come alone this whole time. The goblins are quickly dispatched, but you more or less solved the crisis, and eventually the village full of men goes and puts an end to the rest of the goblin tribe, which largely put an end to itself with its infighting. But eventually, everyone gets their pots back. Some of them don't want their pots back, and the forest goblin menace is abated.
So much for stew-based diplomacy.
Stew-based diplomacy worked. It worked for a while. The problem was that on the other end, there was too much.
Yeah.
Too much goblininess.
Luring them out and discovering, yes.
And I tell a glorious tale to the village about how we went and avenged Ulrich, and by taking 4 for R1 and putting an end to the goblin menace. and their raids on our village and the roads.
Right.
We
Also, we have to
we
give
have
them
like
stew.
the goblin nest. That was pretty important.
You know what? I'm kind of curious. Did Adventure's over?
Yeah.
Did the goblins actually kill him?
Hi, Ulrich? Yes.
Okay.
I rolled on a table. This is actually kind of fun. The way the scenario pack is written is very similar to the way the playbooks are written. I don't know if you guys looked at it. So the first table is what is the heart of the goblin's evil nature, and that's where I rolled forest, that they're forest goblins. And they get a buff for that and a penalty as well. The second table is who was affected by the goblin attack, and it's a D8 table, but it's blank. And I'm instructed to put in characters from your character build process.
Yes.
I rolled Ulrich. The third table is what happened to the above character, and I rolled he died fleeing from the raiders, goblin arrows protruding from the back. Now the comedy of this adventure came from the next table, which said, what do the goblins want desperately? And again, I am picking things from your character, but there are only so many things in your playbooks that you rolled for that were like objects that the goblins could want it. And I swear, when I was filling in this table, I said, I hope to God I roll Calico's stew pot. Indeed, I did.
Had to roll 4 times to get the stew pot, but you rolled it.
It was a D8 table, and there are 4 of you, so I made myself find 2 things for each of you. I'm glad I didn't roll Faustine's, because the only 2 things I could come up with were that they wanted the witch's healing powers, or that they wanted the witch to end a drought they were suffering because they heard the witch causes droughts. And both of those things would have been really hard to figure out because the witch is missing. And then for Heinrich, the 2 things that were on the list were they wanted Ulrich or they wanted your sword. And I would have had to figure out why. The other thing for Calico was the gem.
I figured.
Yeah, and then Akshay, they either needed you for your sneaking skills or they wanted your farm.
Good.
But I rolled the stew pot and I loved it.
Yes, why they were obsessed with the stew pot.
Yeah,
there's also a table for who's the Goblin King, and I rolled that there's currently a power struggle. So combining that with the stew pot roll gave me the story, basically.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm not super keen on the D&D light aspect of this system, but I really, really like the emergent narrative of the playbook stuff for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And honestly, even D&D light system wise, I like how it's implemented here. I actually rolled up 5 or 6 characters. I kind of went into it and was like, oh, well, I'm just going to roll a couple up just to see how this works. And I was like, oh, this is pretty simple. And then, I rolled up a couple more, and one of them was all con. It was nothing but constitution bonuses. It was the weirdest fucking thing. And then I got this guy, and this guy was basically what I wanted. He's fine. The big thing with this character is if you look at each other character, they're 2 really decent scores and a bunch of 8s or 9s. I'm 1 really decent score, and I've got a couple 12s teetering up there to 13 if I could have gotten a bonus to either of them. But there's just but there's interesting stuff in there. Honestly, the hidden cachet of money was the role I didn't want on that table.
Right.
I had made my choice with the previous table. So I'm here and I'm like, okay, well, I just don't have to roll a 1. Fuck. Like I don't like. I honestly, two's the one that really got me, which would give me a deep cave complex with many entrances hidden in a vine-covered stretch of rocky riverside.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's what you gain. Like I got a large ruby. I could get a magic sword. I could get a friend who often remains unseen, or I could get my own little cave. I'm like, cave is awesome.
You already have a friend that often remains unseen. His name's Akshay, and he steals rocks.
Yeah.
Akshay.
Takes them back to his treehouse.
I was gonna try and push it to be like some sort of like wild like animal.
Yeah, another thing I want to laud about this system is actually not from the core book, but from the Wicked Dark expansion that I downloaded. It's a full-on dungeon generation table system. The goblin dungeon that I have in my book, it's completely randomly generated by dice. There's a table for what kind of entrance is it? It's 1d6. There's a stream, animals, guards, a maze, a trap with damage, or a trap with an alarm. And then you roll to see, like, for each dungeon room, like, what's this room? Is it a treasure room? Is it a throne room? Is it the nursery? Is it living quarters? And then additionally, you roll for each room a special feature and the number of exits. And then the rule is when you get a number of exits, however many exits have nowhere to go, you roll new rooms. But each room type you can only roll one time. So that puts a limit on the number of rooms. If I roll a kennel and I already have a kennel, then this passage loops back and connects to the existing kennel. And so that's how you sort of map out the dungeon. And
what's this called again?
It's called the Wicked Dark.
Wicked Dark.
It is $0 on Drive-Thru-RPG.
Yeah, no, I'm literally looking it up right now because this actually sounds interesting.
Yeah, you could use this dungeon generation table with any system. And this is the cool dungeon I had, and you guys did the entrance, and you did the mine, and that's it. But yeah.
Kill box, very powerful. Bear trap, bear trap is in rocks, very dangerous.
I thought this was great. Once the initial confusion of does the core book also like double up with the rolling that I had, I was like, this was really straightforward. I really like this. I think this was fun.
Yeah, cool.
It is a little oversimplified for me, having come from D&D, like true D&D.
Yeah.
I can appreciate.
Well, if you're interested, we're playing something pretty complicated next week. And I think nobody signed up for. I think we have Numenera next week.
Yeah,
Numenera. I've heard really good things about Numenera.
Oh, please come hear them with me because I have nobody to play it. We'd love to have you back.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, of course. It was a blast.
And Cody, thanks for bringing Jeff in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
For the merrier.
We missed you too, Cody. I'm glad you played tonight.
Yes.
I feel like I only saw you in a game like a couple times all last year.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at our call history. The last game I played with you guys was Pathfinder on August 23rd.
Yeah, I remembered you were in Pathfinder. You did Blades in the Dark, and you did Mistborn, and you did Star Trek. Those are the ones you've been in, I think.
Wanderhome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Wanderhome. That was good.
I also did Survive the Night. See, I just have all these calls right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. I can't look at it that way because I have all the calls you weren't in as well. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys.
Okay,
well, thanks so much for playing, and we'll see everyone next time. On Friday, for the viewers, on Friday, we are not doing our regular 5e campaign. We have someone absent, so we might be doing Cyberpunk Red. TBD. We will we'll see you then.
Happy
Good night.
With that,
All
good
right.
night.
Thank you.
Good
Night,
night.
y'all.